Hi, and welcome to another edition of Fire. I am so excited to have our really incredible power couple in California. It's Shanice and Flex. Welcome all the way from the West Coast. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we want to get caught up with you guys. I think of course, people see you guys on social media, but the last time we saw you was the reality show, which I fell in love. Like, it was so great connecting with you guys on that show.
Thank you. Thank you. It was so much fun. We enjoyed it.
So can I ask you, were you a little bit apprehensive about doing a show like that?
I was. He was. It was actually like in 2007, I wanted to do it. And he said, no, because he's an actor. And he said, I don't want people to, think that I'm just doing reality now and I'm at acting. And, he didn't want people to stop taking him serious as an actor. So he didn't want to do it. So I had a vision board and I wrote a check and I put reality show on a check and put it on my vision board. And I also had Miss Winfrey's name on the vision board and
wow,
things that I want to come to pass. And 2014, 7 years later, we were sitting in Own's office.
Yeah.
And we pitched the show, and that was our first and only meeting. We didn't go anywhere else. He was ready then. By you can explain.
Yeah, because by that time, we had gone through some things, and and I looked at it and I said, you know what, we have an opportunity to tell our story. We have an opportunity to let people know that just because we're actors, singers, producers, whatever, that we are affected by things just like the everyday 9-to-5 worker. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just wanted to show that realness, that, hey man, we go through stuff too, and this is how our family sticks together. This is how our family works through it.
Yeah.
And that was important to me. And we really got a lot of people who would hit us up and say, you don't know, like, this show saved my life. This one lady reached out
to the church
and said that her and her husband were going to commit suicide, and they saw our show.
What?
They said it saved her life.
It saved their life. They said if they can make it through, we can make it through. We hope that they continued and they stayed on the path. But that's what made me change my mind. That's what made me change my mind. I said it's not about me. I think my feelings. I think it's more about really inspiring people.
I think when I heard that you guys were doing the reality show, and at that point I was like, okay, reality show. I said, not them, they're such perfect. And then when I see you guys together, I just think you guys are the epitome of Black love, and just so real about who you are. And then the way you guys speak, Flex, the way I feel like you love your wife and the way you talk to her. I'm sorry. It is just, my girlfriends were like, oh my gosh, look at that. It was just, it's a great thing to see. And I think the fact that you guys let us come in your home and know some personal things about you, most people wouldn't want that to be said, but it really had people, like you just said, looking at their lives and say, okay, if they can put it out there and not worry about the world and make it work, the love for your amazing kids. I think I just saw Imani somewhere back there. I mean, they were so fun. And wait, so there was, I keep wanting to say grandpa, but I think it was Uncle.
Uncle Spirit.
Uncle Spirit. And how is Uncle Spirit?
He's good.
He's still chilling in the universe.
Are you serious?
So, just enjoying life, just real laid back. And he's been, like, since the coronavirus, he's definitely been quarantined.
He's been staying. He's staying with everyone. He's not
trying to be around anyone right now.
Anybody, like,
really?
Yeah, but he's been good. Everyone's good. My in-laws are good. Ruba is doing great.
Oh, good.
He's on his own now.
Everyone has their own place.
Everyone's moving at their own place, but we're still all close. We still get together, and just spread that love. You know what I mean? My cousin Ed, who was on the show.
Oh my goodness!
Movie,
so how old is Imani now?
18.
She'll pretty much 19. She'll be 19 next month.
Next month she'll be 19.
Oh my gosh, Shanice, I'm with you. I have a teenager too. They grow so fast. They grow so fast. But you know what? When I think about Uncle Spirit and going in the backyard and building that kind of that silent sanctuary, I said, is this real? Is this really? And I just, I mean, he was love. He's about love.
That's him. That's him. And unfortunately, our little dog Fiji that was on the show passed away. Yeah, but we have a new dog, Hershey. So so it just kind of like it helps you get through it. Our son, like she said, is 16. He's 6 foot now.
What? So he's flexes height.
His voice is deep like a man.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It's so crazy.
I'm like, and tomorrow morning we're taking Imani to get her driver's test, and he permit.
I am not ready for. My daughter talks about that all the time. I said, "Listen, she's 15 and she turned 6. Okay, she's over there in the background. She's turned 16 when in November, so she is very excited. But this COVID is pushing things back. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know that going out and putting your kids out in the world, as you guys must know. I mean, you're in the big city of the the West Coast there, California, where bright lights and everything can entice someone, but it's kind of scary out there, road rage and all sorts of things. So I like to take things in stride. So I know that we talked about that, but there's so much more going on with you two. So for those of you that are just tuning into the program, this is Fire. We're with national recording artist Shanice and her actor/comedian husband Flex, and a former dancer, right?
Former dancer. Yeah.
Okay, I know that. I can say former dancer.
I can still do it. They're just abbreviated. The moves are abbreviated.
And I see you're representing your hometown, right?
Oh yes. I'm originally from the Bronx, but I lived in Brooklyn for quite a few years, so I represent Brooklyn as well, man. Just New York. I'm a New York boy, and I'll always be a New York boy at heart. Always.
Now, how did you meet Shanice? Shanice, are you from the West Coast?
I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I grew up in Los Angeles. Moved to Los Angeles when I was 8 years old and got off the Greyhound bus and told my mom I wanted an agent and I wanted to sing. And it was like things just started happening overnight. And
11 years old when you hit the stage, so to speak, or
I was
soon?
actually 9 years old when I scattered with Ella Fitzgerald in the Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. So
what?
That was my first big television appearance. Now I worked with Kim Fields' mom.
Yes.
I was 9 years old. She put me on stage. I started in theater, and so she taught me how to act and everything. And I did a play with Kim Fields, Malcolm Jamal Warner,
Teresa Randall. Yeah.
John
Yeah.
and then after that, I did Star Search, and
that's everything changed.
Star Search, and I got a record deal at 11, and then
somebody, John McClane came to see
John
you.
McClane. He was the executive at A&M Records at the time. Heard me singing in a play that I did called Get Happy, and the play was about the music of Harold Arlen, who wrote all the Wizard of Oz songs. And I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow in the musical. And when John heard me, I was 11 years old. He signed me immediately. So I had my first major record deal when I was 11 years old.
Now we have, it looks like Chevy. She's asked, how long have you guys been married?
20
Chevy left. What?
This year.
20 years.
February made 20 years.
So it just made 20 years.
Wow, 20 years in the business too. That's got to be a little tough because just regular 9-to-5 work and with relationships now is a tough thing. But to say 20 years under your belt, 2 beautiful kids, a family, and still having a career.
Yeah, we're kind of like, even though we're in the business, it feels like we're outside of it as well because we live way outside of Hollywood, and we just kind of do regular everyday stuff. I mean, even before this, the COVID hit, we do regular stuff. We have parties at our house. We have any birthday party. There's a birthday season.
Yeah, we like to have fun. Lex knows how to DJ, and every time there's a birthday, we like to have our friends over. We dance. We have a good time.
Yeah.
So.
And then COVID changed all that, obviously, but we took the positive from it. I tell her all the time. I say, and in other interviews I've said, because so many people are like, oh man, this must have been tough. And I said, no. I said, we look at the good, that it made us kind of refocus on family, and we actually sat down at the table and ate dinner together. We laughed, we watched movies, and before that, we're all we're running. She's got stuff, I got stuff. We're hustling. We're trying to grind, and you start missing that, and you just only see each other at night, and then when you get up,
it's like the same day starting all over again.
It's like Groundhog Day, but this here is is made you sit down and say, hey, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, you like me, huh?
Well, you can definitely tell from the show, and even now that you guys appear just to be best friends, which is, awesome to wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night with your best friend. One of the things from the show that I also noticed, and I we would have conversations with my friends and groups and people at work, was that there was a time when you were kind of Shanice was getting back into the business and you just let her run. And sometimes men can have an issue if the woman is doing all this and she's bringing in, more than you at that time. And you were like, dude, I mean, I think it's just great seeing that. You hear people talking about, but to see it didn't make you feel any less than a man or a husband. And I think that was a great message to send out as well.
Yeah, we support
each other.
It's supposed to be that balance. If I'm down, she's up.
Yeah,
if she's down, I'm up, and it's not always, financially. It's if she's having, just in a place of just being, feeling that. Sometimes you feel that sadness or from the business because you want things to move. They don't move at the pace you want them to, and we all go through that. We all go through, man. How come I'm not here? Or, how come I'm not at this point? And I wish I would have done this. And those are the times of support that are, to me, more valuable than the financial side, because I can say, look, hey, come on now.
We're both in the industry, so we both understand. We can relate.
Yeah.
Because we go through similar things. So
I go out, I audition. Like I face rejection 90% of the time when I go out. If I'm auditioning for something, if I don't create something and I'm going to audition, I face rejection because I can go out, be great in audition, but they say, hey, we're going to go another route, and I just have to. I've created this kind of I don't know, this wall that I just kind of look past, and I block that side of my mind out. If I don't get it, I keep moving. But there are times that it catches up with you, and you just go, man, wow. I didn't know getting in this thing that I love so much was really going to turn into a business. Like the fun part is still there, but it's so much business
it's
now.
More business than anything.
Yeah, right before all this hit, I got back on stage doing my stand-up. I was traveling.
And you did Mixed Dish?
Recurring on Mixed Dish and Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. Those things just really were picking up. And then when this hit, it was just like, wow. But it made us reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
We got really busy. We were working a lot from home. We were making money from home.
Yeah. I'm doing like full out concerts in my living room.
Yeah.
And Max started DJing because he's been DJing for a few years now. And he was doing it online, like on Thursdays, like before coronavirus. And once the governor said we had to be locked down, Flex said, I want to DJ tonight. It was the day that we had to be quarantined. And I said, well, can I be the hype girl? I'm his hype girl.
Yes,
I love it. So can you tell me, okay, Kamala, how are you? Oh, they're saying hi to Shanice and Flex. I just want to say I love the things you all do on Instagram with the music. I had no idea you guys were married. Camilla, where you been? I said, oh, that's Shanice. That sings I Love Your Smile. Camilla, thank you so much.
Comment from our aunt, Autumn. She was on there. Hey, Auntie Autumn.
Hey, Auntie Autumn. I saw her.
Hey, she was. Hey, Auntie Autumn.
Now, you guys are a big family?
Yes.
Yes.
Got big families. Both of us. My side, her side. We've got a lot of family.
Yes.
You guys seem like the family that hosts Christmas parties, New Year's, and Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We are the party house.
We are the party house.
So we are the party house.
We are now with the holiday house. We're
the birthday.
There's a season of parties that start
in January.
January.
What?
My mom is January. Papa's Uncle Ron is February.
Elijah's March. Then I'm April, and Ruba's April. Then we have June. We have Papa. We have my nephew.
Oh my
God.
June. Then my cousin.
And your mom.
My mom. It's like party.
And then Imani's in August. So it's like every month is a birthday. We're always having parties for everybody's birthday.
So did you guys grow up with a home like that, or it just happened? Because you guys just seem to be happy around the people that you love, obviously.
I think we both. The crazy thing is we both had that upbringing. She tells me stories about
Yeah, I
growing
said
up,
my mom
with her mom and her aunt Autumn that's on here,
and Penny.
and Penny
Yes.
and Monique, cousin Monique.
Yeah.
You know, they were doing that in LA and
He was doing
New
that in New York with
my
his
mom,
family.
like my apartment was the happening spot. My mom cooked in the building. She sold plates for $5. You know, potato salad, fried chicken, and stuff. Everybody.
And in my building, my cousin and I, we would have talent shows, and we would charge the people that live in the building to come watch our talent shows.
Wow, I love that.
I'm like 8 years old.
Wow, I love that. Flex, you mentioned that you auditioned. So I have no idea what that process is like. Can you kind of give us a feeling? I'm sure every situation's different, but would you kind of give us a feeling of what that's like?
Well, unless you have created something for yourself, like I created one-on-one, or other projects that I've created and I can put myself in. Other than that, you're on the audition trail. So your agent sends out a breakdown. They say this is what they're looking for, and if you fit into that criteria, you go into the casting agent and you read for the role. There's hundreds of people reading for the same role, hundreds, and people in that same kind of zone of the character, and you go in, you read, and if it goes well, and sometimes they go great, and it just doesn't go your way because they have a specific thing in mind. Like they may want somebody heavier, shorter, smaller, different ethnicity. Sometimes they change the role, so you have no control. The only thing you can control is that 5 to 10 minutes maybe that you go into that room and wait to see what happens, and then if it goes well, you'll either come back to a producer session. Most of the time I go straight in for producers, and they like you. They'll start to check your availability, but there's always you and about 2 others that they have in mind that you got to fight. You got your people saying, oh, my guy's the best, and somebody else saying, oh, my guy's the best, and you just have to fight it out, and hopefully you come out on top.
And then sometimes you can get a role and they'll change it because he was in the original.
I was originally in Blue Bloods. I was the original partner for Dr. Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Wahlberg. I said Wahlberg. And I did the pilot, and then they decided they wanted to go in a different direction with a female, a Latin female, because they wanted his character to have sexual tension and create something like a rift at home with his wife. And they went with that, and that character I think maybe lasted a season, and he hasn't had a regular partner since. They just kind of been flipping. So you just never know what's going to happen. I've been close on stuff, and then they say, you know what, we're going to go Asian, and you just have no control of that. So you have to create this wall of just being like, you know what, I just have to know that all I can control is when I go in the room.
So Beverly's giving you some love and saying that she loves watching you two on Instagram and Twitch, wishing you guys many blessings. From the Bronx. Okay, Beverly from the Bronx. So, when you talk about auditioning, I guess, is there any role that you necessarily wouldn't play?
I don't know. It really has to. I have to read the material and really see what it is. I'm never going to do anything that's going to put me out of character.
Okay.
I just want to do roles that people won't expect from me. It's easy for me to do the funny and that's the funny guy, or straight clean guy. Like I want to do the role of a dirty politician, or kingpin, or things like that challenge you. I want to be able to dig into that, because that's what acting is. It's just becoming just another person. Even though it wasn't the greatest, but when I did the Michael Jackson movie on VH1, I was so into it that when I came home, I forgot the alarm code to the house.
Oh my God.
I was like,
he was still acting when he came home from that movie. He was still acting like Michael at the house, and I'm like, Lex, come back! I need the old Lex.
So you really kind of like, where do you? I mean, obviously you're professionally trained, but I'm just saying, where do you zone out like that? I mean,
block me out, and not look at it like, oh, let me play a role. It's like, let me be. I am this. This is my life. So I took every day while I was preparing for it and doing it. I was preparing as if I was him, and I looked at countless hours of video, talked to people that knew him, and I just wanted to try to embody him as best as I could. Just unfortunately, production value was not what it should have been. But I enjoyed it. It was a challenge to me, and I'm the type of person, if you tell me I can't do something, that's the exact thing I want to do.
I got it. How about learning the script? Like how do you guys do that? I mean, I don't, obviously it's a gift, but literally I've seen, clips and videos and stuff of people getting a manuscript that's thick like this.
You get sides and a script. Sides are just portions or scenes from the script that they want you to use to audition. I love it. For me, the more dialogue, the better. I can retain dialogue pretty good.
And then when you're shooting a movie or a show, you're not doing all of the scenes at one time. Yeah. So you'll get, and you'll know what you're going to shoot that day. And you just,
go ahead, girl. No,
I love it.
Focus on where you are.
You do the sides. You have scenes. You get to do those scenes over and over again. But the thing that helps me memorize is just not looking at them as lines. I have an inner dialogue. I have notes that I write on the side, and I work with Tasha Smith, who's a friend of mine for over 30 years, and became my acting coach. And she really brought another perspective to acting. Because before I was trying to be so deep and so she just brought the real. She's under one of the greats named Ivana Chubbuck, who's worked with Halle Berry and many more. Just finding the truth in each scene. And if it's a scene where it's a scene with a couple and I'm not creating or making up something, it's digging in and putting Shanice in those sides, in that scene, and then it becomes real. Now I'm talking to Shanice and I'm not just reciting lines. So it's different techniques, but I like to just go with the real and just the authentic emotion and structure of the scene.
It's pretty amazing. John Bratton, I love you guys. Miss Shanice, will your songs Gotta Blame Me, We Can Fly, or No More War?
Wow.
On a new CD. Well, John, we're getting ready to talk to her about that. We have so many things to talk, so I'm going to flip and flop and go back. And by the way, someone just texted me. They wanted to know how you guys met, and I know we'll get on that in a second. But Shanice, you do have a song out. He Won't?
It's called He Won't, and it's on, all the digital platforms. So you can get that, and I'm actually working on new music as well.
So are you still able to I don't know if you have a studio in the home now that we have COVID, or are you going into the studio and working? Can you still be creative during this time?
I'm actually in the process of setting up a studio at home.
Yeah.
I just been jotting down since coronavirus, just like ideas like on paper.
And some producers have been
I've been getting producers have been sending me tracks to write to and stuff like that. So
that is a great thing to talk about. Shanice, obviously, again, you and your husband are both independently gifted, and I'm hoping that people hear something on here and it might spark them to their creativity. When did you realize you could write? Because writing for a song and writing to me are totally two different things. And then you tell real stories, or do you kind of is some of it like make believe?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I just want to say, but I started writing. He's laughing because he knows the story I'm going to tell. But I told this on when I did Unsung. But my cousin and I, we used to sit in the closet with a cassette player, and she was 6 and I was 8, and we would write songs. And in my mind, I was pretending like I was in a major recording studio. So ever since I was a little girl, I love to sing, but I've always been interested in songwriting. And I love writing about, my personal experiences. And sometimes I just like to make up stuff that I think people, can relate to as well.
She's a great writer.
Thank you.
I've learned that she's a great writer, and I'm assuming from your acting that you don't forget anything. So you can't have arguments with him because he probably remembers exactly what was said.
Yes.
So how did you guys meet? Because he was dancing, comedy, acting. you are a recording artist. How do those two merge?
He followed me.
No.
I was in this apartment building, and 2 months later, I was getting off the elevator to go to a Lauryn Hill concert. And when I got off the elevator, he was moving his furniture into the building, and we ran into each other by the elevator.
Yeah, my cousin and I.
His cousin was with him. Now his cousin was a rapper that was actually signed to Motown, so I knew his cousin. Mm-hmm. So we spoke and everything. And I'm like, "You live here?" He's like, "I'm moving in today." And I said, "Okay." I said, he said, "Give me a number so we can stay in touch." I said, "Okay." So let me go get a pen. I went upstairs to get a pen. I was on the
45 minutes later.
I was on the phone. When I went upstairs, my cousin was supposed to be at my house to ride with me to the Lauryn Hill concert, but she wasn't there. So I said, let me call her real quick to see, how come she's not here. And I got on the phone. So I went back downstairs. Flex was gone.
Oh.
And like 2 weeks later, by the elevator, we ran into each other again. He said, "Okay, I'm not going to let you go without getting your number." And we exchanged numbers. We lived in the same building. I was on the 3rd floor. He was on the 5th floor. Mm-hmm. And we just had a really great friendship. Mm-hmm. I didn't look at him like, "Oh my God, this is going to be my man." And, he didn't look at me like that. As a matter of fact,
I used to go down to see her at her place, and she had these flannel cookie pajamas.
I didn't know until we got married.
Oh my
God! I had these favorite pajamas that are not cute, but I feel like I'm in the house by myself. I can look how I want to look. So I had on these flannel pajamas that had cookies all over it, and so that's how I would look when he would come visit me, because I was like, "This is just
we were."
I'm like, I'm not trying to impress him because this is just my friend,
Yeah.
And then after we got married, we had a meeting with it was a discipleship marriage discipleship class we were going to, and some things came out in the meeting, and he said, "You know what? I don't like those cookies that you wear." He waited until we got married to that, but we dated 3 months, and then he asked me to marry him.
What?
We officially dated. It was only 3 months, and then 4 months later we were married.
Yeah.
Flex, that's kind of huge to make it commit. First of all, it's big to make a commitment like that in general. But again, I have to reflect to being in Hollywood, because both of you see lots of people who do lots of things and parties. That must have been something that really clicked right away with you.
What was it at that point? Again, even being here, I always marched to the beat of my own drum. I had my cousin Ed, my cousin Lee, my boy Justin, who's a writer, who now is the showrunner for The Chi. Like, we had our own little crew that we just hung out. We played video games. We did basketball. I was really bored. Like, if people really hung out with me, like people from New York, I spoke to them like, "Yo, son, I know you be at all them parties out there, in Hollywood." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm home playing."
He would be up all night playing video games, and this is when I wasn't. I guess I didn't know that I liked it, but we were friends. And one day, because I would always, when I pull into the parking structure, I would always look to see if his car was there. And it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I pulled in, and his car wasn't there. And I think I was just coming from the studio or something. Mm-hmm. And I looked, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" And I got kind of like a little like,
and your feelings,
I guess. Mm-hmm. And so I called him the next day, and I said, "You weren't home at like 3:00 in the morning." And then, no. Yeah. Then you said, "I'm grown."
Yeah.
Wait.
We're gonna rewind it. This happened because
I remember.
Yeah,
okay.
she skipped
I skipped a part.
So
I skipped something.
The reason why I responded that way is
that's
because
right.
prior to that,
no, you're right.
I'm gonna date ourselves. This is back when we had pagers.
What?
So
okay.
She was paging me, and then I finally got back to her, and I just kept getting her answer machine.
I paged him, and then I ran out.
So I started, so I called back a couple of times, like, "Hey, yo, you okay? You paged me." I said, "Hey, you all right?" But
they're gonna think that's me. That's not like the story.
No, let me finish. So then, finally, she calls back, and she finally goes, "Yeah, I'm okay." I'm like, "Yeah, you okay?" I just was calling to get you your school. Let me finish.
I gotta say.
And she said, "Well, listen, I don't like coming home to all these messages on my phone." I was like, "Oh, you know what? You in my mind, I didn't say it to her, but I was like, "Oh, really?" But the attitude was, "What? You know what? You don't ever have to worry about that again." Boom.
And he didn't call me for 2 weeks.
I didn't call her for 2 weeks.
And let me tell you something.
That's when she saw my car.
Okay, look. I had just lost a friend. She was dating this guy. He murdered her. And I was just, I don't know, just angry. And I shouldn't have said it because Flex knows I'm the nicest. Yeah. I'm so nice. Like, I can't believe when I think about it, I can't even believe I said that to him. But I just wanted to say that. So anyway, the story.
Yeah, so you didn't see my car.
So I did see his car. He didn't call me for 2 weeks after I said that.
You was feeling me.
And
like how you put that in, you were feeling me.
The parking structure, his car was gone, and then I felt a little jealous. So I called him the next day and I said, "Hey, you weren't home at 3 o'clock in the morning." He said, "I'm grown. I come and go as I please."
Booyah!
And then that was after 2 weeks, and then we've been talking ever since. That
was it. That was it. You realized, okay, maybe he's not just a cute friend in the building.
I was like, yo, I ain't gonna stop. I was like, oh, really? I'm gonna piss you off.
Oh my God, I love it.
Like him.
And then she realized that it really was true that my cousin, we would sit and play
video games
like NBA and Madden. We would sit and like literally play for hours. Like hours.
And he does it. Even now, like when Ed would come over, you guys would play all night.
We play all night, and that's why I'm saying I was so boring. I didn't live the Hollywood life that I guess a lot of my friends thought. You know, it was.
But look at the prize that you have, a wife, a beautiful wife, and the family. That's just so great. And people are giving you shout out. There's Lisa and Dante just saying power couple. And how much they love you guys. Lisa, Will, great couple. I mean, you know, when I was given an opportunity, they say, "Hey, Taylor, would you like to talk to Flex and Shanice?" I'm like, "Are you kidding? Let's talk to them today." And listen, I have to tell our viewers here, this is the first talent that we had. They were here before me. Like they are together. They are professional. They were ready. They followed directions to connect. So I just, my love for what you guys do and who you guys are is just long lasting. And again, I keep going back to your show because that was my first time seeing you guys as people, not actors, and not, a national recording singer. Summer Anderson. Hi, Auntie.
Hi, Summer.
Hey,
Summer. That is so great. Now I want to turn to Shanice because I heard that you're doing some with cosmetics. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a lipstick line called Smile by Shanice, and you can go to smilebysHanice.com. You know what? People would always ask me, if you weren't a singer, like what would you do if you weren't in the entertainment industry? And I've always been in love with makeup, cosmetics. Even when I Love Your Smile was released in the 90s, I wanted to partner up with like a Revlon or like a CoverGirl and be the face, back then. I was like, wow, with this title, Smile, we could tie this into a brand or a makeup brand. But I just didn't know. I had those thoughts, but I just didn't know how to go about doing it. So just recently, I put out my own lipstick, and it's called Smile by Shanice, and it's non-toxic, and it's vegan.
Vegan. Oh, great. And so, where can we follow you to get a sample? Purchase. Where do we go?
So you go to smilebysHanice.com.
SmilebysHanice.com. Now, also, do you guys feel, and this is a two-part question because there's one for Flex and one for you. Mm-hmm. Flex, you are an actor. Shanice, you're a national recording artist who you're more than just that. Do you find Flex for acting that you have enough opportunity? It just seems like sometimes in Hollywood, they'll pick one or two Blacks to represent and be in all the movies and all, and we are all very diverse.
Yeah. It's cyclical. I think it goes in waves, and who's hot, they ride who's hot. And I sat back and I looked and I was like, wow, I was never in any of these classic movies. Like, you say you're The Best Man or, Love Jones or, a lot of these movies where I know that, hey man, I connect to my culture. You know what I'm saying? And it just, it had me feeling like, wow, did I miss something? For a while. But then I just said, hey, what's for me is for me, and I'm happy for my counterparts that are working. I do think that there are a pool of actors and that are out there that have not even been tapped into. Go ahead, Rick. Say something.
No, go ahead.
She's
ready. She's ready.
This is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that, when Flex and I met, he was really frustrated because he was going out on these auditions and he wasn't booking anything. And I said, why don't you create your own show? Stop waiting on everybody else and do it yourself. And I said, do you have any ideas? And he said, yeah, I do have a show idea. And that's when he, started.
I did one-on-one.
One-on-one. He said, I have an idea about a single father raising his daughter. And that's when it happened for him, when he did it himself. And I've noticed that with both of us, we have to create our own opportunities, because in this industry, you're right, it's like very cliquish, and they want to work with who's ever hot at the time, and and it's true. So I want to encourage people out there to start doing it yourselves, because even with the reality show, our cousin Ruba brought us a team of guys. We shot the sizzle reel ourselves and took it in. We didn't wait for a production company to say, hey, we want to work with you and shoot it and then take it to, we did a lot of that ourselves. So it's important so that, because if you just wait on other people and wait on your opportunities,
it'll never happen.
It'll never happen. So you just got to do it yourself.
Especially these times now. It's a different time. You got to definitely be proactive. Like that day of sitting back. There was a time where we all helped each other. It's like I felt in the early 2000s, we were helping each other. We had a lot going. We had, these upstart networks, CW and UPN, and which a lot of people took issue with. And that's the black network. And I'm like, listen, we're not happy for nothing. Like that's the other thing that gets me sometimes, is our own people can be the worst critics. We had UPN. They just, that's the, other people, something people network. We're working. First we're not working enough. Now we're working. Yes. I had no problem. I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was great seeing everybody on television, seeing people of color on television, seeing people working, from actors to camera people to the grips to the craft service to wardrobe. It was amazing. And then when it's gone away, now we're sitting there going, oh man, we don't have nothing to nobody's. When we did, you didn't appreciate it. We didn't appreciate it enough.
That's true.
Even now with this announcements, we one-on-one is October 5th will be coming to Netflix. And
great show.
Moesha, Girlfriends, a lot of these shows they bring. I saw comments on Facebook, people, I hope they, getting paid. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, they're only doing it because black is in right now. And I'm like, we gotta stop that.
Complaining.
We gotta stop it. We have become our own worst enemies, even within this movement of where we are right now. This systemic racism, this climate. Even though companies are, putting $100 million here or this, that's still not enough. We still got a problem with it. And it's like my grandmother used to say, you either got to boo-boo or get off the potty. Are you, that it's true. And that's the thing that irritates me, because I was excited about this Netflix announcement. And then it's like that. It's like, really? Like, come on. Like, what? Well, it's only because it's popular right now and the Black Lives Matter. And it's like, listen, we have a space. We can take that and build from that. I've already written the reboot. So this could probably help the reboot. But if you're gonna,
did I just hear? Do we have some breaking news here? You said you already.
No, he has ideas.
I've written it out, meaning I'm ready when it is that time.
Wow.
To talk about it. I'm ready to do that. But people don't understand that this coming back on breathes life into a reboot, because it creates interest again for people, and it's a new audience that didn't know about us before.
That's
so
right.
We continue to bash each other and complain and say it's not good enough, we will continue to be in the same space. So I just ask people, let's support, let's be just really, I'm not saying go to sleep, but be excited, and let's take this and turn it into good and create the things we want to create, because outside of that, man, we're doing it to ourselves. So I wanted to say that because I saw that on Facebook the other day, and I was really upset. I saw that. I was just like,
I think you hit it on the head when it comes to that. I think for the new generation, my teenage daughter, all these reality shows, which I don't allow her to watch, but we've gotten away, to me, from shows like One on One with you raising your daughter, and that's real life.
Yeah.
That's what people are going through, and we just need some positive stories. That some of them are true, some of them are fictional, but we need all aspects. And just like how Uncle Spirit is a different person, and he's all about spirit and love. People probably already think only one type of person is like that. Well, African Americans do more than basketball and football and sing, and I like the fact that you're taking part in shows that shows us in different lights. Now, I have a question that came in, and they want to know, it's live. Who's in the picture behind you?
Oh, this is a picture here in the Bronx at my grandmother's house. That is me, a young with the dreads sticking up. This is my older brother, Kevin. This is my brother, Dwayne, who passed away in 97 of AIDS.
Okay.
My sister, Bernadette, my grandmother, the matriarch, and my mother. And that was the last Christmas we had together before my brother passed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I keep that, keep them with me. And it's crazy because he passed in that February, and we had met. And we met.
Right after your grandmother passed.
Yeah, my brother passed
in February.
February 17th. February 18th of 97.
Yeah.
My grandmother passed February 17th of 99.
Then we got married February
19th of 2000.
Then years later, my grandmother passed February 11th.
So
what?
A heavy month.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look, Shanice, there he goes with that memory. He's got, and you're not dead either.
He's on it.
It was poignant because when we first got married, we, around that time, I would get
He would get sad around our anniversary.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I said, why did you remind me when we picked February 19th that your grandmother had passed in February? Because then our anniversaries were so sad. So now he's like, you know what? Maybe God did that so that we can have something exciting to smile, to smile about in February.
I love that positive thinking. I really, really do. Now I also found out that I remember something about you doing a graphic novel.
Yes. I did a graphic novel with a company called Lion Forge years ago. I was always a comic book head growing up. Got a writer named Brandon Easton, this brother who's amazing, who's gone on. He's doing like huge things now. And it's about this young guy who ends up getting caught in this government type espionage kind of. He gets an encrypted file, and the encrypted file has all of these names and this plan for the vice president to help usher in the assassination of the president so that he can usher in the New World Order and all of these other things that they want to do. So this guy's on the run the entire graphic novel, and he gets an ally within a Latin FBI agent that's inside. So she's inside, and she's helping him stay one step ahead of the people that are chasing him. And she's also trying to find truth, because for her, with all her gumption, she was pro FBI America, and then she found out these things. So now she's helping him stay ahead of the game. So it was great. We didn't have the greatest, promotion and stuff in the company. There was just a few things that we missed, but I'm definitely the story's great. I'm still looking to.
That's really great.
Yeah.
So do you? I don't know. Do you guys have a pad of paper and a pen next to your bed? Because I'm always thinking of things, so I keep it next to my bed. Are you guys like that, or you have an office or sanctuary in the house that you do that?
I keep a pen and pad. I'm always writing stuff.
I put notes in my phone.
Okay.
So, I save a lot of things in my phone.
I'm old school. I like to.
Old school.
Even when I do stand up, I like the feel of writing the joke. And if I don't like it, I cross it. If I, do like just this fun thing. I had a young comedian like laugh at me one time. I'm at the Laugh Factory, and he's looking at me. He said, "What's that?" I said, "It's my book with my jokes." He said, "Oh man, you writing your stuff down? Why don't you pull out a I got an iPad." I'm like, "When were you born?" He was like, 1990. I'm like, "Exactly."
Hey, Flex, we just had a question from someone who said, "Can you talk about dancing for Salt and Pepper?"
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. That was one of the greatest points in my life. They're still dear friends to me, my sisters. Being able to see the world, I got to see the world with them. We went to many countries and abroad, and I learned a lot. I was a hip hop dancer in New York, and Spinderella reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're looking for another dancer. We want to kind of match Peppa's height. Are you down?" I was like, "I'm down." So
Of course.
took that on, and we danced with him for probably about 5-6 years, and gosh, we went on tour. And the crazy thing is, we were in Europe. We did a show called Top of the Pops, and I met her there.
We actually you're in London.
In London, we just met.
I was on Top of the Pops. He was on Top of the Pops with Salt and Pepper, and one of my dancers, who's also my best friend, he said, "You don't remember, but you met Flex in London when we did Top of the Pops with Salt and Pepper." And I didn't really, we both don't remember that, but we met.
Destiny was meant to be. Now, so we learned that Shanice, you have a lipstick line that's out. We know that you have a song called "He Won't," and that you're working on the album. Flex, I heard something about animation.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have an animation we're in developing right now for our family.
Yeah, we just we can't say too much.
We can't say too much about it. In the works, but we're really excited.
We just got our showrunner, executive producer on board, so that was huge, and we're working on it now. So
so that's in the works. Music, television,
and like we said earlier, our Good Vibes,
our t-shirt
website. This is.
Wait, I didn't get that one. Good Vibes t-shirt. Okay, let me fill me in.
Goodvibes.com. So it's GUDVIBEZZ.com.
And these are the shirts. Hold on, let me grab them. Yeah, talk to her.
Yeah, just show what.
Yeah, I just want to get.
That's good stuff. I'm learning.
on the site, it really was born from, Lockdown with Flex. That's the IG party that we do. Hype wifey. We got t-shirts. Our trademark is our red cups, and it's called Lockdown with Flex. And then we have other shirts. Still, we have.
I'll show you the Lockdown
we have
shirt.
in the We Are Tired. And then around everything that was happening, we created these shirts called We Are Tired, and they have bullet holes in there. Just we're tired of the murders. We're tired.
Wow.
Tired of the nothing, everything being going just unprosecuted and no one facing any punishment. Grab it with the hanger, babe, so we don't let go. So this is the Lockdown with Flex. That's the red cup.
I heard about you cutting it up. I can't wait to tune in and check you out mixing it.
That's the red cup, and this is the We Are Tired here. This is We Are Tired, and you see the bullet holes in there.
There's bullet holes.
Right there. And this here is our Black Wealth edition. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921.
Yes, I think that's a lot of people are talking about it because they didn't know about it, unfortunately.
A lot of people don't know about this here, Seneca Village.
Tell us about that.
Seneca Village was like Tulsa and like Rosewood.
Okay.
Self-sufficient, Black-owned. We had business. We had circulating 20, 30 times within the community, thriving. The locals used eminent domain to take it over and flood it. They flooded them out, destroyed it, burned it down, and Seneca Village later became Central Park. So we were the founders basically of Central Park in that area. So on the website, when you click the link, there's a little history on Seneca Village. We also have Rosewood, 1923, and Tulsa, Oklahoma 9. A lot of people know about Tulsa. But
now,
a lot of people don't know about Seneca Village and Rosewood.
And I like that. Don't wait until February just to find out, and stop learn new things. I mean, there's people doing and making history today. Learn about that and spread that. And I love the fact that you're doing that. You know, you mentioned about being tired about crimes against people who look like you and me, and no one being prosecuted. So do you follow this? Is there anything that you do in addition to what you're talking about now?
Yeah, we follow it. It is. We never thought we'd see this in our lifetime. We heard stories. My grandmother told me stories about, the March on Washington, the Selma bus boycott. We're just thinking, like, oh, okay, that's, because the 80s, 90s and all that stuff, we didn't feel it.
Yeah, we didn't feel it at all.
But now you have children, and now you are super mindful of where your children go. They used to be able to walk down the hill to our local grocery store with their friends. Now we're like, no.
Our son the other day wanted to play basketball. He has one friend that we allow him to be around during this time, and because his mom and dad are really careful, and they wanted to play basketball, but they wanted me to drop them off. And I said, no, I don't feel comfortable just leaving him at the park and going home and then coming back.
Yeah.
There was a noose in our community.
Yeah, less than a mile from us, they found a noose in
a park. So it's really.
So those things now we have to be mindful
really
of and
sad.
talk to our children about.
I was going to ask you, so you've had to have that talk.
Conversations with both of our kids.
Our daughter too. And surprisingly, because there's so much information, because they have these phones, they know stuff before more than we do. They know so it is. We hate the fact that we have to be, because they went from a life of being able to hang out, have their friends, go.
We drop them off basketball, go to the park.
And now it's like, okay, no, we don't want you to go here. No, we don't want to instill fear, but we want you to be aware.
Absolutely.
Because, it's just people out. And even if you have copycats and people just doing stupid things. And I'm hoping that we're on the road to some kind of real justice, because even though there's video cameras, so many people have been recorded, not prosecuted. And it's time. The fact that Breonna Taylor's the killer, this guy was in Florida on the beach taking pictures with two women, is insane that he's not in jail. And the DA, the county, more has to be done.
Now, today during the funeral services in Atlanta for the late John Lewis, former President Barack Obama said, listen, you got to vote. What's your stance about solving some of these issues by getting those who haven't been voting and saying, I don't like this candidate or this candidate? And I always try to tell people, if you don't vote, it's a vote.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is tough. We have to get out there. We definitely have to exercise that.
Definitely have to vote.
Representative John Lewis, famous quote, his skull was cracked. So many of us were tortured so that can happen. That we have that right. And the flip side is also like, do you trust this one? Do you trust that one? Like, who? It's so tough, but we know at the end of the day we have to, because we have to get change. We have to have change. We have to have change, because it cannot keep going like this. It cannot. And the thing that gets me is when people really look like, oh man, that's not happening. It's like, are you kidding? Are we not in America right now? Are we not seeing this? And when I leave the house, I pray I get back safely. Like every time.
When he leaves, I'm a nervous wreck. When my kids leave, I'm a nervous wreck.
It's really sad to that point. And I think a certain group has been, really fueled, and those groups are feeling it's okay to say what they want to say. It's okay to run up on somebody. It's okay to tell somebody, go back to Africa. And I'm like, really? Like, that's what you're going to say? I'm like, you're not even on the land that you belong on. So, you know what I mean? You're going to get historical.
Right.
But it's just, this climate is it's an energy that we were talking about it last week. I said, this energy is just, it's off. It's just, I find myself where I'm like, having anxiety. It's just like, man, it's just because you don't know, there's so much uncertainty.
A lot of people are saying that. Well, you know, because of who you guys are, I can't leave the show with something heavy like this. We've given the challenge of reminding everyone you've got to vote, you've got to register. Make sure now before the November election that you're registered to vote. But what I would love to be able to talk about is your advice to new couples, to people wanting to get married, just the key to what made it work for you two, and maybe any advice that you may have for others going down the track that you are 20 years.
20 years.
Just understand first. We hear people say this, oh, y'all are the perfect couple.
There's no such thing as a perfect marriage.
No such thing as a perfect marriage. There's days I stay downstairs and she stays upstairs because we need a break. She ain't feeling me right now, and vice versa. We just like, you know what? Let's just get our space.
Exactly.
Communication, obviously prayer first.
Prayer first.
Communication. Don't be afraid to have the tough conversations.
I feel like you can't get too comfortable. You know, people get married and they don't do the things they used to do when they dated. So you have to always stay on top of that.
Yeah, because life, you know, kids, that can take over easily.
Yeah. And once we had kids, we kind of forgot about each other.
Yeah.
Because everything was about the
That's
kids.
easy to happen. Yeah, I can understand that. And
you
guys have date nights?
Yeah, we used to have date nights.
We were getting back to it.
We were getting back to date night, and then coronavirus broke out.
So we kind of had date night and we watch movies. Let me say, we'll start together to watch a movie, but I'll finish the movie.
Shanice, I'm with you. If you got long days getting up at 5 a.m, that TV.
But you know, I think it's important to have a great friendship. I think it's important to be honest with one another. And don't go to bed angry.
Yeah, don't go to bed angry. And you know, and you've come together. You know, you made a decision. You've come together, and you know, you'll have the tough conversations. You'll have
You're gonna have the ups and downs.
You have the ups and downs, but you know, you want to do it. That's why you're there. So you keep going, and you know, and you can't say, "Oh, for the kids." You got to do it for the love of each other.
Because I asked Flex one day. I said, "Are you with me?" Because we still have, you know, I have to check on him and see. You really love me, or you with me because we're a kid? Like, do you still?
Yeah.
No, you have to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, are you still attracted to me? You know, or are you just with me because we have children and you're just used to me?
Yeah.
You know?
We're doing a red table here.
So we have those conversations.
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
Yeah, we've had those.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've had those.
Hi, Gina. I see Aunt Penny's on there too.
Yeah,
Hey, Penny. Hey, Gina.
We've had those conversations, and she don't have to worry about that no more. I think she know.
I love it. Flex and Shanice, we are so excited about hearing your updates. We hope to see more of you in the theaters, and of course, we know Netflix, your program One-on-One, and this anime. We look forward. October 15th.
One-on-One on Netflix.
October 15th, Shanice and Flex. Thank you so very much. Please stay safe out there, and we appreciate you coming on the program, Faya.
Thank you.
We enjoy talking.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody out there.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for today's show. Until next week.